Hello students, this is Coach Holliday, and today we are looking at solving equations with the variable located on both sides of the equals. This is just a continuation of our solving equations. The last lesson, you remember, we solved equations with a variable where we had to collect like terms, and we also solved them where we had to distribute. We may have to do that in this lesson as well, but this one's going to focus primarily if that variable is on both sides of the equation. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So this equation, 6x minus 3 equals 2x plus 13. Let's go ahead and draw our line down through the equal to get started, and we'll circle our variable. Now notice that the variable is not on the same side. So if you remember, to get rid of something off of one side of an equation, I have to actually zero pair it out. I like to have my x's on the left side of the equation over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zero out the x's that are on the right side. So the way I zero it out, since this is positive 2x, I need to subtract 2x from this side. And when I do that, it gives me 0x, and all I have left is that 13. So I'm just going to bring down 13. Now I'm allowed to do that as long as I subtract that 2x from the other side. So I'm going to subtract 2x over here on the left side. And when I do that, I have positive 6x, subtract 2x, gives me 4x. And then I'm going to bring down my minus 3. And now I just have a basic two-step equation. I'll start out by, to solve that, I'll start out by zeroing out the 3. So since it's minus 3 or plus a negative 3, I have to add a positive 3. So I'll do that to both sides. And that gives me, that makes 0. That leaves me with 4x on the left. And on the right, it leaves me with 16. Last step is to divide both sides by 4. And that leaves me 1x equals 4. And then if you'll remember from before, we're going to take that 4 and we're going to plug it in to wherever the x is on both sides. So now we're going to check it. So we're going to plug in that 4 where the x is. So I'm going to go 6 times 4 and then subtract 3. And it gives me 21 on the left side. So 21 over on the left side. And then I'm going to check the right side by plugging in 4 for x. 2 times 4 plus 13. Enter. And that also gives me 21. So I have 21 on both sides. So therefore it is the correct answer. Let's move on to the second example. Right, in our second example, we have 8 minus 2p equals 4p minus 10. Now this one's going to be very similar to the last one. So what I'd like you to do is to pause the video and try to work this one out, and then when you get done, turn the video on and walk through the steps and see how you did. Okay, so go ahead and draw your line. Circle your variable. Notice it's on both sides of the equal, so we're going to have to zero one of them out. I like to keep the variable on the left, so I'm just going to zero out the one that's on the right. So to zero out 4p, I'm going to subtract 4p. I have to do that to both sides. Now these make 0, and I'm left with negative 10 on the right. And on the left, I have 8. Now this minus makes that plus a negative. So they're both negative, so I'm going to have minus 6p. Now let's zero out the part that's not the variable. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. And those make 0. And don't forget that minus, that subtraction makes that plus a negative. So I have negative 6p equals negative 10 plus a negative 8 makes negative 18. Last step is we'll divide by that negative 6 to get the p by itself, or to make it 1p. So I have 1p equals positive 3. So that's my answer. And again, we're going to want to put that in place of the variable and check each side and see if we get the same answer. So I'm going to start out by doing 8 subtract 2 times 3. When I do that, it gives me 2 on the left side. So I get 2 here. And I'm going to do the right side, 4 times 3 minus 10. Press enter. Gives me 2 on the right side also. So since they're both the same, I know my answer is correct. Right, last example, there's going to be a little combination of what we did in the last lesson and what we're doing in this lesson. Alright, so we have 8m plus 1 equals 7m minus 14 minus 2m. So let's draw our line down through the equal to separate the sides and circle the variable. If you notice, it's written 3 times. 2 times are on the right side together. So I'm going to combine those like terms. So on the left, I still had 8m plus 1. But on the right, when I combine the 7m and the minus 2m, that leaves me with 5m. And then I have minus 14. Now I want to get all my m's to the left side, so I'm going to zero out the m's on the right, and I'll subtract 5m from both sides. And that leaves me with 3m plus 1 on the left. Notice these will make 0, and I have negative 14. And now we have a basic two-step equation, where we'll subtract 1 from both sides. Those make 0. I'm left with 3m. And on the right I have negative 15. Now I want to divide by 3 on both sides. That leaves me with m equals negative 5. So that's my answer. Let's go ahead and check it by plugging in negative 5 where my m is on both sides. So on the left side I have 8 times negative 5 plus 1, and that's going to equal negative 39 on the left. The right side, I'll do 7 times negative 5 minus 14 minus 2 times negative 5, and I hope I get negative 39, and I do. So we got negative 39 on both sides when we checked, so we know that our answer is correct. Alright, if you had any questions or want to go back over this, don't hesitate to rewind the video and look over any parts you need to. Make sure you complete the WSQ, the WISC, and we'll bring any questions you have over this assignment to class tomorrow. We'll see you then.